I do need to gather my thoughts. Today has been a lot, or this week has been a lot. Do want to start with a big thank you, firstly, to Toronto and the league. They have been a great partner in this process that has been, as you know, less than ideal. I also want to thank other GMs and other teams, because as much as this is a day of celebration for us, I want to acknowledge that players, teammates, friends have been kind of taken from their teams, and GMs have lost, part of their roster. And they have been also very good in collaborating in this process since Sunday when we got the protections. So wanted to get that first off my chest. Yeah, it's a huge moment for our franchise. I feel like I struggle finding in my English limited vocabulary the right words to describe how I feel and what I think this means for the city and the fans and for our franchise. So I firstly want to thank our staff. The amount of work and time and nights and laughter and passion they've brought into this process has been just incredible to watch. So no one has slept since Sunday, but we went through hundreds of scenarios, and honestly today went better than any one of us expected. Yeah, I guess as Kimberly said, we are excited. What we wanted was from the roster, as I mentioned, our strategy was from Sunday on when we received the protection is to identify the one unrestricted free agent that we really want to get our hands on. So once we finalized that process and zoomed in on Bridget and knew we have our first expansion pick, it was kind of obvious that we do not want to have Toronto to kind of hold our destiny in their hands, and that kind of build our strategy going forward. So Bridget was an automatic number one. And from then on, we just strategized, who are the players that we want to get our hands on and which teams will fall off the board. It's been an interesting process, not knowing what Toronto's next move would be. So basically our goal coming out of this expansion draft that we have great teammates, players that will, help us recruit players in free agency, will want to play a team-oriented basketball, will work their off to make sure this team will be competitive on court and will bring so much joy to the fans when they come to Moda. And I think we did an incredible job. Like I said, out of all the scenarios in mock-up draft that we were best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, this was the best one yet. Yeah, like I said, this is the first step, and I think a great one that will kind of support us going into free agency, which we all don't know when it's going to start. And then the NCAA draft is just going to be a cherry on the cake for us. And yeah, can't wait to go through that journey with you, our fans, and our staff. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, cool. We'll go ahead and open it up. We have a handheld mic. Please use your name and your affiliation to get it rolling.
Hi, my name is Kyra Buckley. I'm with Oregon Public Broadcasting. Hi, Vanja. Thanks so much for doing this.
Of course.
You have a fan base here in Portland that has been hungry to learn who would be on this roster. Can you talk a little bit about how you plan to introduce Bridget Carlton and the rest of your choices, knowing that it could change before May 9th, how you plan to introduce them to the fan base here?
Yeah, I think that's more of a question for our marketing team. But so far, we don't have information from the league where the designation period will start, where negotiations. So as of now, we're allowed to talk to them, but do not know when we'll be allowed to bring them into market. We have called each and one of the players, and I have to tell you, all their reactions were very exciting, positively exciting, which surprised us as well, because it is a tough day for them as well. So yeah, like you, I can't wait for our fan base to get to know these players and their players' stories. I feel like everybody has an amazing story to share, and I'm confident and our team will do an amazing job kind of sharing the story with you, either it's via showing up in the community or social media as new generations do now.
Sean Hyken, Rose Garden Report. Vanja, with this being kind of the first step of the roster building process out of the way now, is your general process going, or your approach going forward in free agency and the rest of this compressed off season going to be more doing kind of what you did with Golden State and trying to build a team that's going to be competitive for the playoffs this year, or is it going to be more just kind of setting a foundation and building slowly and building through the draft?
100%. We want to be competitive from day one. If we're going to be successful, we'll all be, pleasantly surprised, hopefully. But definitely going into free agency is like, let's get the best players we can and fill up the roster spots or the positions where we feel like we might be lacking coming out of the expansion draft. So yeah, I can't wait to sit and talk about our free agents, hopefully in a week or so.
Hi, Vanja. Orlando Sanchez, KGW TV. Curious to know a little bit more about your top pick and Bridget and why it was an auto pick in your words and what makes her so good and how she, will fit in.
Yeah, firstly, if you know Bridget and you know people, how they talk about Bridget, everything is just in the superlative, that's the word. Everybody loves to play with Bridget, and to build around her. I think, she did an amazing job in Minnesota, and if you take her out of that environment and kind of start building the team around her, we think she can be an all-star player, and perform much better when it comes to the stats. So she's someone that brings unique qualities on both ends of the court. She's an amazing defender, right? And when you look at her statistics offensively, we all know she's a great shooter. But she doesn't even have to touch the ball. So she has such a low usage in terms of, on ball, but is incredibly productive. I think she's like in the 95th percentile of the league. So imagine having her ball in the hands more than she did in Minnesota and kind of utilizing her in the offense more. I think, sky's the limit for her.
Nick Krupke from KBTV, excuse me. One of the players Carla, so how great is that? You already have a connection with her.
Yes, very excited to get Carla. Carla is a 21-year-old, a point guard that is just fearless. And she just brings a unique style to a point guard position. Her ease to get to the paint and, score in traffic is just incredible. Like what I saw in practice and what I see internationally, she can also stretch the floor, so I think her shooting will improve as well. But just her fearless personality and what a good teammate she is and, just brings joy to every day to practice was another non-brainer for us to kind of go grab her from the Valkyries.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. Annie Peterson from the AP. Can you talk a little bit about what the differences were in doing this expansion draft when you're kind of competing a little bit with Toronto for picks as compared to last year with the Valkyries? And also how free agency and the kind of more interesting free agent kind of looming free agency this year is different from last year and how that impacted your selections in the expansion draft?
How much time do we have to talk about the differences? This has been, an interesting journey, and a lot of people have said, you've been through it, but honestly, I haven't. Last year was so static and so predictable, and also the timeline. We had the rules a month in advance, and then protections 11 days in advance. Here, everything was just, jammed in. It's a short timeline. And like you said, I felt like every question we asked, there were 2 questions that came back. There was never an answer, right? And you could only predict what Toronto's going to do. So it's, kind of having multiple strategies. Last year was just selecting and sending an email in. And there was none of this happening, right? This year, we had to kind of predict what Toronto's thinking, what are they going to do, and kind of play out probably 20 different scenarios, like I mentioned earlier, and have an answer to anything Toronto does. We had an answer. So it was to be more exciting process, but also exhausting. And I'm happy that the teams coming after us don't have that problem in the next expansions that are coming. And then to answer your free agency questions, it's very exciting for the players, for the teams, what's about to happen. Like, the only regret I have that everything will go down in 2 or 3 days, right? Players and teams will not have enough time to get to know each other, to actually go through the free agency that at this level it deserves. So we're hoping, again, we're gonna have to prioritize players that we really wanna target and just hope that they also have the time and kind of desire to sit down with us. And once we have them at the table, I feel like our front office and coaching office can convince anyone to come to Portland.
Hi, Vanja. Guillermo Mota with KATU. 2 questions. First, did you pick heads or tails?
We didn't pick, the league decided. The league gave us the heads, right? I think we were heads. Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
All right, second question. I want to ask you about your last pick, Nika Mule. She's coming back. She's coming back of back-to-back ACL injuries. She's going to be under contract this year. What kind of support are you looking to give her so that she can come back healthy? And what should fans know about her that don't know?
Yeah, Nika was a personal pick for us. Like both Ashley and I know her since she was very young. She was in our NBA Academy program, and so we, did a lot of academy games with her. So I've watched her grow on court since she is 14. She comes from our neighboring country, Croatia. So, she's someone that I was incredibly excited that she got the opportunity to go to UConn, shine on the court as she did, but then unfortunately had this devastating injuries back to back. I believe we always emphasize, how many times have you heard me say, we're gonna have the best performance and health medical team in the league? And I strongly believe we have that, and that's why we were so convinced that we can help her. We can bring her back to life, to play professional, because she deserves it, right? In addition to that, another incredible, energizing human being, that our fans are just gonna fall in love with. So once we had a green light from our medical team, we're like, are you ready for this challenge? And they were like, heck yeah, bring it on. So at the end, it was either a pass or, help a player in need. And she's also super excited to kind of change the environment and kind of looking forward to be managed by our medical team.
Hi, Joey Vaca with Coin6. You take a look at the past few months, it's taken a lot to get here. You see the support that you've already had from the city and the fans, so what's the message now that they know who they're actually going to see on the court representing them?
Good question. I would say there's more to come, and I would send a message back, because everybody's so passionate, and I don't know if I can mention this, but the ticket sales are going amazing, so I think we're gonna sell out every game. I'm hoping it's gonna be louder than Golden State, right? Golden State last year, I had goosebumps every game, every home game I had goosebumps because of the fans. And yeah, I'm challenging our fans to be better than that if possible, but I'm 100% sure they're gonna see a team that's gonna compete every day, that's gonna uplift each other, they're gonna play for each other, and for sure they leave their hearts on the court.
Take one more.
Vanja, looking at the group of players that you have right now and then going into the draft and free agency, what you'd say on court are some of the biggest things that you feel like you still need to address before the season starts?
Yeah, I think what we're definitely going to target is the big position. So that's going to probably be our priority, and point guard position potentially. We have to regroup. After this, our whole team is going back to the office, hopefully have a glass of wine or a glass of champagne, and then kind of regroup how it went, where we went wrong, where we did well, and then figure out our next steps, how to tackle free agency. Just hoping the league gives us some information on when we can actually start send some contracts out.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What do you feel about the roster, honestly? Excited?
I like it. Pretty good.
Okay.